G'day, mate. Welcome to Captain Industry with me, Jetty. So what we're going to be doing is start a brand new game. We do have a couple of choices because we actually start off on an island. Yes, you have just one island to build on, and our choices are, we have New Haven. New Haven, very good island for new players. I really recommend if it's your first time in the Captain Industry, start off on New Haven. Don't go for something harder yet. Get your mind around the core concepts and then move on from there. Second one we have is the beach. When I actually did that 10-episode miniseries, start off on the beach. Different style of island, little extra challenges along the way. Very, very interesting island to play with. Third island, which is part of the early access, is Curland. Curland is, well, it's a curvy bit of land. It's a bit of a different island. As you can see, large area in the middle, which you could either put in multiple docks, become a transportation and shipping mecca, or you could fill in that whole area in to have more landmass to build more of your industrial empire. Next up, we're going to talk about You Shall Not Pass. You Shall Not Pass is really designed for the most experienced players. This map is a challenge. You start off, as you can see, right there in the center. Not a lot of building room, and on top of that, a lot of the ore is buried very deeply in the mountain. So you're going to be excavating a lot of the surface of this map. On top of that, you don't get a lot of building area until you get up to the higher plateau, which means the map is very, very, very challenging. Last one we have is the one we're going to be actually playing with today, which is the Golden Peak. The Golden Peak has multiple plateaus. We're going to have to get our trucks and our factory up and to and from. At the same time, as we can see, there is one mountain in the middle that's made of nothing but gold. We wish to be the richest captain left in the world, so we're going to be mining out all the gold. So game difficulty, I'm just setting that to captain. I'm not going to play around with it too much. We're just going to go for a standard captain playthrough. Don't want to make it any harder, don't want to make it any easier, just want to give you guys the exact same experience I'm going to have. So, we have our island. We have our ship, our dock, and all that sort of stuff we're going to come back to in a second. Quick look around the island. We have our first plateau, and then we have a second plateau, and then the terrain slowly gets a little bit rougher and a little bit higher as we dig our way up and work our way up to our gold mountain in the middle. But back to our little starting area, all the way back down here. So, the premise for the game, the lore, I guess you could call it, there isn't really any, and nothing official so far. I like to think of, you had your ship that is now damaged. You found a shipyard, a damaged shipyard on an island. After escaping the zombie apocalypse, the nuclear apocalypse, the rising seawater, whatever it happened to be, and you arrived here with your 90 closest friends, which you have promptly shoved into the most fashionable container ship lodging that you had available. At the same time, you've unloaded the contents of the containers into your shipyard, which has a certain amount of starting resources. Now, to go with that, you have a couple of trucks. Now, these trucks are everything. They are your building, they are your logistics, they handle everything up until later in the game when we get a lot more automation, a lot more conveyor belts, that sort of stuff. So what we need to do is, there's also a very, very quick dialogue, quick tutorial that you can choose to follow, or you can pay attention to this video. We're going to go through all the basics. So I'm going to work things a little bit backward. We're going to set up a couple of things. We're going to go into buildings, we need a research lab, and I'm going to pop 2 of these down here on the coast. Because what they do is, well, research. That's all they really do. Now, that's going to cause a couple of trucks to grab some of these construction parts, bring them over here, and dump them into these buildings. Because every building needs some construction parts to actually get built, and that's going to unlock our tech tree for us. Now, the tech tree is extensive, okay? There's a lot of things that we need to go through when it comes for the research. Yeah, we don't care about that. We have research. Okay, so research. The tech tree, like I said, quite a long tech tree, a lot in the tech tree. It starts off with something simple like farming, and ends in something slightly more complicated like, all the way up here, rocket assembly. Now, this is the early access version. There's been actually a lot of the tech tree that's been stripped out. I expect it will get added back over the early access, over the game as the developers work on it. We used to have, space stations and stargates and all sorts of things, which were well past rocket assembly. But we're going to start off with something simple, like learning how to feed our people. Probably. Actually, no, we're going to go with some construction. We're going to need some assembly. We're going to need to learn how to make those construction parts that we just used. Now, this does introduce a new part to the game, a new important part that is unique to captive industry is probably the best way of putting it, and that is unity. Unity is like a overall happiness of your people. Okay, so in our Unity stats, we can see that we have a growth. Okay, we are going to get extra people over time. Believe it or not, people with nothing to do have a habit of breeding. I don't know why. It's just something that I hear happens. They also have a health. We're going to have to worry about their health over the time because, as I said, captive industry has that sort of city building aspect to it, just a little bit. Also, it has Unity. Unity is the special resource I was talking about, and I like to think of it as overall happiness of the people. So at the moment, because we're feeding them, turns out they're very, very happy they're being fed. They are giving us +1 plus a 0.015 because we're feeding them potatoes. So we need to feed them more potatoes. On top of that, they're healthy. Because they're healthy, we're getting a +0.4. which gives us a total of 1.15 because we actually have a subtraction over here for the 2 research labs. Because it turns out some people don't like progress. And like I said, I like to think of it as overall happiness because we can use Unity in a bunch of different ways, either instantly transporting materials across the map, or we can use it to make people work double time. Speaking of working double time, that's one of the things we're going to get up and running very, very shortly. We're going to need a blast furnace to actually make some iron, to do some things, as most factory games do. But to do that, we need coal. To get coal, we're going to put down a coal maker right there. That's going to have a couple of those trucks, get some construction parts and bring them over here, shove them in here and start making coal. Start making coal from wood. We're going to have a certain amount of wood come in. We're going to have 20 wood over 40 seconds. It's going to give us 4 coal plus 16 exhaust. The exhaust, we're going to do the honorable thing and we're going to dump it in the atmosphere with a smokestack. Smokestack will burn off 20 every 20 seconds. So 1 per second. We're only producing 16 every 40 seconds, so we should be fine there. And then we just need some trees. So trees, we need to assign tree harvesting. I'm thinking we're going to go that area. I want that gone. Yep, we're going to go that area. Now, tree harvesting involves a special truck. It is the tree harvester. The tree harvester is a very, very special truck, has a very, very special attachment on the front of it, and it's very, very good at removing trees. What it's not good at doing is transporting trees. So it's going to grab the very first tree. Perfect. It's going to promptly debranch it, and then it's going to sit there and wait for something to do. What we need to do is we actually need to assign a truck to it. So it's going to have a permanent truck assigned to it. Of course, it's going to be one of the ones really close, which is going to wander over here, pick up the tree, which has now become logs, and shove it somewhere, i.e. into the coal maker to get us some coal. So that's going to be step number 1. Step number 2 is we need to start smelting some iron. So we want to actually, we researched food. Can we get some food? No, we didn't research food. We're going to go research some food. Basic farming. Yes, please. Okay. We need to get some iron. So to get some iron, we need a blast furnace. A blast furnace, if we hover over it, gives us some details. And we're going to put this right here. Now, we're going to end up rearranging a lot of things on the island. I'm going to remove and rebuild. But the blast furnace current recipe we have is iron stack, iron scrap, plus coal is going to give us molten iron plus exhaust. Okay, seems simple enough. Exhaust we've already dealt with once already. We're going to put a smokestack right about here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so I can hook a pipe up, because we might want a second blast furnace in the future. Okay, on top of that, it's going to give us molten iron. Now, molten iron, a little bit hot for trucks to transport, and they need to go into a metal caster. So cast molten iron into slabs. We're going to want a bit of a gap, and I like using the metal caster to perform to space things out. At the same time, we want to transport that with not trucks in a molten channel. So we're going to put a little channel in there, and you're already set up and running. You just need something to start running, which means we're going to have that abandoned communication station that looks perfectly in pristine condition. We're going to start recycling them. So trucks are going to come over here. They're going to pull apart the iron scrap, the concrete, and the electronics, shove at least the iron scrap in here. Everything else they'll leave there till we need it in the future, along with hopefully some coal. Do we have coal yet? Not really. So what we can do is we can spend that Unity to make people work double shift. We have 2 people in here currently. we're going to click this button, which is going to cost us some uni every month, but those 2 poor people are now going to work double shift. So that should up our coal production, which means we can come back over here and we have some iron scrap plus some coal to give us some molten iron and some exhaust. Now, we're producing 8 molten iron, and this is consuming 8 molten iron. You'd think everything would be fine. Unfortunately, it's not. Because a lot of these factory games have ratios and that sort of stuff that you need to work out and deal with, we have the exact same problem here. This is producing a molten iron on a 20-second cycle. This is consuming molten iron on a 40-second cycle. Now, Captain of Industry has done one thing that I really wish a lot of other games would do, just to make working out ratios a little bit easier, and they have this calculated on a 60-second cycle. So this is now calculating on a 60-second cycle rather than the 20-second one it had originally. So it says it's going to pump out 24. If we come here, this is also 12 every 60 seconds, which means I need a second one of those. I'm also going to need to extend that channel from there into there, and that should double our iron output. Okay, so with iron, what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to come into General Machines and build an assembly. Now, an assembly is going to, after we select what recipe we want it to run construction parts. It's going to convert iron plus wood plus concrete slabs into construction parts, which is really good because we have concrete slabs as part of the communication station. We've just started smelting some iron, and we already have plenty of wood, hopefully. Research is finished. We're going to set up the next research, which we're going to do the trading dock. No, we're going to go to vehicles and mining. We're going to need to get some serious mining up and running, because that is half the point of the game, getting some mining up and running. So, with that up and running, we can start making construction parts, which is good, because we're down to 245 already, and we did get basic farming. So, farms are tiny, as we can see. And we're going to put 2 farms over here, because it's always good to have a spare one, in case your crop fails, because that does happen in the game. I'm going to drop 2 of those over there. Now, of course, farms, first off, they need to be built. Secondly, we need to plant something. Now, in the early game, because you're pretty stupid, you haven't done any research yet, you have the ability to make, well, potatoes. Plus, we need to deal with water. Now, at the moment, we're going to be relying completely on rainwater, i.e. rain falling and landing in the farm. That's the only water source we have currently. Obviously, there's plenty of water out here, but it's all salt water. That's a little bit difficult to feed to potatoes. But at the moment, people are going to be happy eating potatoes because they have no other choice. I figure you've survived the apocalypse. You've ended up on an island with your 89 closest friends. You're happy with whatever you've got. All right. So with that out of the way, we need to then work on vehicles and mining after research is finished. You are running, you're waiting on wood. Wood is going to be a bit of a problem. We're going to remove that boost. That should hopefully free up wood. It's going to slow down the production of our iron, but should hopefully give us more construction parts. One thing we might want to do... No, we're going to have to wait until we get mining up and running. So, we will stare at the lovely graphics here whilst we wait for mining. Alright, so whilst we were waiting, we had it rain, and as we can see, the water level here filled up. We got to maximum water, and that means we've planted the trees, which means in 2.3 months, we should have 48 potatoes in each of these, which should fix our food. At the moment, we have 34 months worth of food supply, but speaking of food, if we're going to feed them, they're horrible people. They're horrible people, and if we get this on the screen, they make trash. So we're going to have to deal with people's trash as well. Housing, we need waste collection, and we should talk about this really quickly. Housing. Housing is design and housing blocks. So as you can see, we need to connect the new housing to the old housing, which means I am going to definitely put my waste collection probably here, so we have room to build down and across some more housing blocks. Now, I can take out another strip of housing and put it wherever I want. The catch is that it needs its own internal services, which is something I don't really want to deal with. Now, of course, this is going to collect trash. Trash is okay, except we need something to do with it. And we can do all sorts of things. We can dump it out to sea. We could do something important with it. For right now, we're going to set up a dumping designation, and I'm going to dump our trash over here to try and get a ramp up to the next area. So I want to set up a dump zone like that. So we're going to dump from ground level up to here in an effort to try and get up to the next plateau. All right, so we now have access to mining. Let's pick our next research. We're going to grab the trading dock very, very quickly. Main thing it's going to give us is unit storage. It'll actually give us somewhere to store things. So we're going to select that. At the same time, we need to get a mind control. Well, we need to get a vehicle depot. So a vehicle depot is literally somewhere to make trucks. We're going to pop this out of the way. It doesn't have any resources in or resources out or anything be delivered by belts. It is literally trucks bring stuff here. We make things. We can either make more pickups, make an excavator, or make a tree harvester. We're going to want an excavator because I want a mind control tower. That is a mind, you know, control people's minds like our little people. And we're going to pop that right there. Now, mind control tower is going to let us harvest resources in a predefined area. I've put it over here because this dark stuff happens to be, if we turn on the layers, it happens to be coal. A decent amount of coal. So what I actually want to do is I want to edit the area of this, and I want to definitely have it come out this many tiles, but I want it to come that way. Because we're going to be mining a big section out of here. Definitely. The other thing I want to do is we're going to have to set up a mining destination. We're going to start off flat. And I'm going to dig right across the front. I'm going to dig up that many tiles. Same time, I'm going to come up to this plateau and we're going to say dig that flat. And then with the F button, we can change the angle. And I want to dig from there down to there. Now you can see this ends at a 3, that ends at a 2. That's probably going to be a bit of an issue. We're going to remove those tiles and put that there. And that should give us a nice ramp that some areas will need filling, some areas will need digging. We can see by the color coding what is roughly the right level, what obviously needs to be filled, and what is needing to be dug. But we need to then assign an excavator, and we also need to assign a truck to empty that excavator. So with that done, we can now get a trading dock. Trading dock being the very next item we just unlocked. Can we click on that? Oh, okay, open research. We're going to jump into power. Power is going to be the next thing we need to handle because the people are better and happier if they have power. We want cargo docks. We want a trading dock. Now, trading dock is something that was added with the early access build. Trading was overhauled a fair bit when it came to early access. This is a slightly different building. It's going to need construction parts, which we are now making. It's also going to require wood. So we're going to have to get 180 wood over here, which means now that we have coal coming from our mine, we should be able to turn off the imports for this wood to coal conversion, and then eventually come back and actually pause this machine outright. The other thing we got access to was storage, a unit storage. So I want to put one of these here, and we can see we have these green arrows, these red arrows. Red is export, green is import, and I want to put this basically in line with that because I'm going to want to put construction parts in here. Eventually, I want to connect a conveyor from one to the other, but for right now, that's not really an option. I could plug them hard up against one another, and they magically connect, but we want a bit of room in case we want to have multiple coming in here. Speaking of multiple, now we have dedicated wood, because that guy's been turned off. I actually want to have 2 machines making construction parts. Yeah, we're going to need a few construction parts. Everything needs construction parts. We already started off at like 500. We're down to 140, and we have a lot more things that we're going to want to build. Also, as long as we keep the wood up, iron shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, you're maxed out on iron, you're maxed out on iron. So we should be fine. We're going to turn on that as well, get that up and running. How's our dock coming? 20. It's going to take a while. Alright, what I want to do is... no, they've dragged all my construction parts out of there and shoved them there. Bad trucks. Bad trucks. Okay, you're going to make construction parts as well, which should give us a whole pile of construction parts, which is going to be very, very important going forward. We also have access to a couple of extra recipes here. So we have mechanical parts. We also have iron plus mechanical parts plus electronics. It's going to give us vehicle parts. Vehicle parts are used over here, obviously, to make vehicles. We also got access to rubber plus copper equals electronics. Don't ask how, it just does. But that should be enough to get us up and running for the moment. Next thing we need is power and maintenance. Power and maintenance is going to add 2 new dynamics to the game. One is, of course, power. Other one is maintenance. Maintenance is really, for Captive Industry, it's like the resource sink. It's somewhere where all your resources need to go to do things. Now, when it comes to maintenance, it is this little bar over here, and as every belt, every machine, every truck, every single item is going to require maintenance. It's going to require you to take time to take care or to build some spare parts for every single item to make sure they're up and running. At the same time, we just ticked over. We just got an extra population. We now have a population of 91, which means we've got a free available brand new worker, which is good because whenever we have a new baby born, straight off to work they go. We might also notice our health is now 9 because we now have a significant amount of air pollution. I don't think we have an overlay for air pollution. No, we don't really have an air overlay for it. We do have statistics, pollution. Yeah, it's just a bar graph for the moment. Maybe they'll add an overlay later so we actually get areas for air pollution. So you've used up all the wood. We can actually pause that machine outright, get back those 2 workers. We research. I just spoke about research. We want concrete production. Concrete production is going to be our next research. We can see everything's pointing in this direction. Mainly for the rainwater harvester. We're going to want to be able to catch rainwater. That's going to be very, very important. As for maintenance, we're going to need a maintenance depot. And I'm going to put this, let's put it here. Because we're using trucks for logistics at the moment, everything is fairly fine. This is going to need a couple of things. One, it's our first building that needs power. So we're going to have to go build some power. Of course, power is over here. Our options currently are a diesel generator. That's it. And we're going to tuck you... actually, we're going to put you here. Yeah, we'll see if that comes back in Hortsby. Okay, so that needs diesel, and it's going to give us electricity. We already have a demand for 25 electricity to make maintenance. Maintenance, like I said, it's this here. We have a global storage of 630 maintenance, and if we click on a truck, we can see that it needs 2 maintenance every 60 seconds. Most of them started with oversupply, just so, you know, you had a chance to get up and building and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the maintenance numbers are definitely going to go down over time. So that should give us construction parts. Why are they not being transported? Oh, we're out of wood. What's the story with our wood? Hey, you. Oh, our 1 truck is taking so long to go back and forth. We need to add a 2nd truck to you. Get twice the amount of trucks over here helping. We have power up and running. It is outputting 25 megawatts of the possible 180 it can output. And that means we're now making maintenance. Okay. After the bar fills up, if we don't have any need for that power, then the diesel generator will actually shut down and save us the power. Maintenance is very, very important. It's over here. And like I said, if it runs out, you're in trouble. If you see this bar anything but max green, you need to investigate it instantly. Because if maintenance runs out, or the trucks stop working, or the buildings stop working, and you end up in a situation where you could death spiral very, very easily. Maintenance is one that you really, really want to pay attention to. But of course, that needs mechanical parts and electronics. We're not making those. We have a certain amount in storage, I believe. Yeah, mechanical parts and electronics are coming from here. So we need to start making mechanical parts. So I'm going to turn you on and you on to make mechanical parts. I don't want to start making electronics yet. We're going to use what we have and hope, because we don't really have an import for rubber yet. Rubber's a little while away. It's a couple of researchers. Okay, so we just finished concrete production. Unlocked a whole bunch of new buildings, plus a whole bunch of new products. Back into research, we want to start making diesel, because of course we've now got power using diesel, plus we have all the trucks and the excavators and everything else running around using diesel. So we're going to get that up and running. So, with that, we need to have a few things we need to handle. First off, water. Like I said, I want that rainwater harvester. We're going to pop those over here. Now, these are super high-tech. They require a lot of maintenance. They are tarps thrown over framing. That's it. That's it when it comes to the rainwater harvester. They're not too complicated. They're very, very easy to do. And of course, the second I put them down, it starts raining and they're not built. Of course. And they're not going to be built till the rain finishes, I bet. Yeah, because they need wood. And the wood is going to be the slowest part. Oh, look, as predicted. First one's built and the rain has stopped. So these are going to collect water. Of course, the trucks will transport around the water for us. So we don't have to worry about that too much. One thing we do need to worry about is actually making concrete. Because don't forget, we are using concrete slabs to make construction parts. We do have a limited supply currently. But obviously I want more. Oh, now it rains. Okay, let's go over and look. Yeah, so they are collecting rainwater. And they're going to collect 40 apiece. And, of course, our farms are going to get re-watered. They're going to need water as well, but, you know, we'll worry about that later. Okay, concrete. We're going to need a couple of things. First off, we're going to start at the end. So let's go with concrete mixer. So, concrete mixer, if we pop you, let's just pop you right there. You're going to need, you have 2 recipes selected, or 2 recipes as an option. You're going to need cement, crushed slag, water gives concrete slabs, or cement plus gravel and water equals concrete slabs. We're going to turn on both those recipes. We don't mind which one you use. It means we need to find out where we get slag crushed or gravel. So, they're going to come from a crusher. Crusher is going to pop over here. And it has the option of bringing in slag to give you slag crushed, or bring in rock to give gravel. Again, we're going to turn that on. This has a power usage of 20. This has a power usage of 30. We're going to be using 50 kilowatts no matter what. Next one we're going to need is the rotary kiln. Rotary kiln is going to turn limestone plus coal into cement and exhaust. Good old exhaust. Now, I could build this near here and share the gas, the exhaust pipe. But I think I prefer to build it separate from one another and just put on another exhaust. Okay, so now we need limestone. Limestone is going to require us finding limestone on the map. If we bring up the overlays and zoom out a little bit, we can see limestone is over here. So I want a buildings. We want a mine control tower to control the mines of the excavators, which is going to, let's get rid of that overlay, which is going to need yet another excavator, which needs vehicle parts, which we're getting low on. Plus, it's going to require diesel, which we've still got a decent amount of. Now, this one going to be a little bit different. I want you to do a few things. First off, I want you to edit the area. We basically want to dig through there. Okay. Next thing is, as for mining destinations, we want to turn that overlay back on. I want to start out on the flat by selecting the F, pressing F on the keyboard to get flat or ramped. And then I want to ramp that. So let's change that to a 1 and then reverse it because I want to go, no, do I? No, we're just going to clear cut. I'm going to start here in the corner and we're just going to clear cut across like that. We're just going to take the corner out of the mountain. Going by the divots on the thing, I think most of this looks like it's level. It's at ground level. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit underground. We will see. Either way, we're just going to clear cut the whole corner. That's the way I like to deal with things. You're going to get built eventually. All that mining area is inside there. That's fine. It's also going to give us, hopefully, more scrap material we can put in here to ramp this up, because we want to get upstairs. And you're limited by no construction parts, which is limited by these are not running fast enough. So what we can do is we can expend Unity. Unity, as I said before, to double the production rate. So we're going to double the production rate of both of these, which should double the amount of construction parts we get, which should, especially if we turn those off, should get both our kiln and also our mind control tower built as fast as possible. You're about to pop out, so we just need this and this to get done. And then we should be good to go. Okay, so we're going to assign an excavator and we're going to assign a truck. If we look at this tab very, very quickly, we can see how many trucks we own. So we own 7 plus 1 tree cutter plus 2 excavators currently. And we have 4 available. Okay, so that is 4 that have no jobs, no dedicated jobs. Plus we have 2 assigned to, 2 assigned to mining for the excavators, along with 2 of our trucks. Where the other one is, doesn't really tell us. I'm expecting that's going to change later, but I know it's assigned to trees. We can optimize things a little bit by putting in, if we had construction parts, we probably shouldn't. We could put in a unit storage for wood, and we could fill it up, and then unassign these guys, and then reassign them later. One thing, especially if you're fuel poor, is if a truck is moving, it uses diesel. At least it used to. That might have changed. Okay. Like I said, it's not quite the early access build. I'm a little bit before the game's released. Day or two. It's like the pre-early access. So you're going to fill up with dirt. Hopefully dirt should get dumped over here, if all goes well. Yeah, because this is all trash so far. There we go. We've added some dirt. We've increased our ramp. You still need what? 21 construction parts. And you guys are cranking them out in sets of 4. So it's going to take a minute. But it should get done reasonably soon. And then that should give us concrete. We already have water's been delivered. Concrete, water's been delivered. We're just waiting on the other materials. We have a worker shortage. So you're short the worker. So with workers not available, it actually won't run. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have to find a building to pause. Hey, you'll do. We don't need the vehicles depot running. We're going to turn off the vehicle depot. That should be fine. We're not making any other vehicles at the moment, so we don't really need it. We could turn off the research labs. I think they're the only things that have people. Yeah, we don't really want to turn off the food markets. The rainwater doesn't have people. The farms are sort of important, although that food supply is going way up. By the same token, we could even turn off... what are you loaded with? You're loaded with wood and... no valid destination. Oh, so we got nowhere that needs wood. Oh, that's an improvement. Okay, so we just finished oil. So oil is going to give us basic diesel, but basic diesel, I think we're going to be saving for the next episode. I think we need to leave diesel for the next episode. It's an important thing that we need to cover, but I think that means that you're going to come back and watch the next episode. So, being the first episode, brand new Let's Play, like I said, would very, very much appreciate it if you click the like button. If you watched all the way to this point and you haven't clicked the subscribe button earlier, even though I suggested you should, you probably should do that at this point. And it also means that the very next episode, I think for Captain Industry, definitely the cycle, the release schedule normally means I'd have an episode out in 2 days, but I have a feeling we're going to try and get an episode out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We'll cover diesel then. Thank you for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I will see you guys in the very next episode where we cover diesel, we cover health and pollution, we cover more of the technology tree, we fix our worker problem, our worker shortage, and we continue with our industrial empire. But, like I said, thank you for watching. See you next one. Bye.